it is Friday, early in the morning. See, sun's just about to come up and we are getting out of Morro Bay. Our last morning here. It is freezing. I am cold, but we are going south. And we're out of here. Woohoo! Hi, Morro Bay. Looks like we got some wind right now. Sweet. Beautiful this morning. The sun's just coming like a rock. E-rock. Swell height's probably anywhere between 3 and 6 feet. Nice and far out though. They're only like 12, 13 seconds out. So they're very, very spread out. And we're just motoring along. We had a little bit of a sail this morning. Should be getting to Conception about 6 o'clock tonight, right at sundown. And then the next point we're going to round right now is called Point Arguello. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes away. Only seen 3 crab pots, which is good. Hopefully we don't see, well, we'll just hope for the best tonight because it's going to get dark, very dark. There's like no moon tonight. And we will be motoring basically from Conception to Ventura if the weather report is accurate, which it's been pretty accurate from today. It's been very light. But it is a good opportunity for us to really test the engine, put the first 24 hours on it, and make sure that all the stuff we did to it in Morro Bay works out. Nap time. Autopilot's been doing all the work today. Starlink has not worked all day, which is frustrating. I think that Elon put a new rule in. Your Starlink is in motion, it won't recalibrate its directional thing. So it hasn't gotten out of stow mode the entire time we've been out. It just says that it's disconnected. So it's either that or we have a bad cable. And neither one of them are great options. Well, we are just passing Point Arguello. More like, it's actually called Point Arguello, but that's the nickname we gave it. This time, when we were coming up the coast, right in this area is when I found the fuel leak on our diesel. So it feels good to be, well, I wish we weren't motoring, but it feels good to be motoring back in the same spot and having, knock on wood, no problems. Should get to Point Conception about 6 o'clock tonight. And then basically from Point Conception to Ventura is all going to be in the dark, but we know those waters really well, and so it should be all good. Picked up, so I'm taking it. It's not very much, it's about 10 knots, but it's coming right over our port beam, and it is sending us nicely along at about 4.5, 5 knots. Can't complain, not using no diesel. This is one of the nights that is just, I'll never forget. Past Conception, sea state has completely died, basically. We're probably 2 feet now, and we had a just generous 10 to 13 knots right over our beam. And Avocet is just moving along like a hot knife through butter. Silence is gorgeous. I'm not as worried about stacking our prop anymore on the things lurking at the surface, and I hope it keeps up. I am one happy boy right now.
I am just, fashion icon this morning. Got my Sharks beanie on. I have like 6 layers on to stay warm, and we are just chugging along. It is 2:22 in the morning. I am on my first watch. It's been a short watch schedule, 4 hours on, 4 hours off. Only took 2 of them because Morro Bay to Ventura is relatively short. It's like less than 200 nautical miles. So we have just been moving along. Engine is running great. We did sail for a little bit there when we had wind, but then of course the wind pretty much died when we got around to Consumption. I, like an hour into my watch, we were going through the Santa Barbara oil slick, which is a natural occurring oil slick, and it is really, really thick lately and smells atrocious. Anyways, it's really hard to see things in the water. So, even though I've been keeping an eye on the horizon, well, from what I can see on the horizon, it kind of just blends into the sky with how dark it is. I couldn't see any kelp or any crab pots or anything like that in the water, and apparently we ran over some kelp. So, luckily it's not off balance. It still seems like we're doing all right. The temperature has remained okay, oil pressure's good, so I'm not super concerned. It just means when we get to port, we're probably gonna have to get in the water, and by we I mean Chris, and untangle the kelp or whatever the heck we ran over from the prop. So that's where we're at now. I'm gonna get back to checking the chart and finishing the Netflix show I started. Starlink at Sea is pretty cool.
We're about 5 miles away from Ventura, and the wind decided to join us. So we were just enjoying a nice, beautiful sail into Ventura. It's gonna be a pretty strong Santa Ana, I can already tell. We've already got 17 knots. Next 5 minutes will be in our home waters, where we did so much work and where we lived for 4 years. It is pretty wild to come back. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to come home. Feels good.
The last time we're lowering this main. How crazy is that?
It's already getting warm. I'm only down to 1 jacket. I had 4 on last night. It's a good feeling.
Hello from sunny Ventura, California. We are back where we originally started this crazy adventure. Not permanently, just for a short time. We're here to get our brand new sail that we had delivered here. We're also going to provision because we don't know what Mexico holds for us. We're just gonna be safe about it and get everything we need. And we're gonna do another diesel run, propane run, oil run, and just soak in our final moments of being in the US for a bit. It's about to be like freaking Christmas all over again.
Or maybe
We're back with a dock cart full of goodies. We have our brand new precision sail that we're really excited to look at. We have just a bunch of other odds and ends.
First things first, let's take down the old main. We got to take off our stack pack, at least on one side, in order to plop it down. Biggest reason we are changing out our mainsail, even though it sounds pretty good still in the belly of the sail, out towards the leech is where this main has gotten some really hard abuse. You can see on the leech line, actually, it's quite gone in multiple areas. And a good test you can do on your sail to see if it's tired, bend the sail together and crinkle it back and forth and start to see the fibers starting to separate like we can on this sail. That's a good telltale to know that your sail is at the end of its lifespan. We can quite literally, in some areas, just put your finger through this sail. The last thing is to just look at your stitching. We have a lot of stitching on the aft end of our sail, the leech, that is completely let go. We knew there wasn't much life left in our main. We were going to spend more time and more money trying to fix this thing than just putting that effort into a new sail. And that's basically it. So it's good to see that it's gotten us this far, but we are stoked to get the new sail on. So we're going to take this thing off, go flake it since we have a nice green patch on the shore. Smells brand new. Well, now that we're flipping in the right direction, we can actually raise the main.
So excited to have a clean white mainsail because our old mainsail was very weathered looking, and especially with our precision head sail, which is just another beautiful white piece of material, like the contrast was real. So this is going to make our boat look so much nicer and so much more put together, and hopefully sail better too. So. When we decided to upgrade our mainsail, we decided to make some key modifications.
Those modifications are going battenless, roachless, and headboardless.
And I know what you're thinking, we're crazy for getting rid of these things, but we have some good reasons for it, and I'll let Chris explain because every time I try to, it goes wrong.
So having battens in your sail obviously give it some more shape, and having more sail area, aka a roach, gives you more power. More sail area means more power. Those are all good things. However, we like using our main for more than just sailing, and let me explain by that. Whenever we go anywhere with the boat, meaning when we're motoring, the mainsail is up. It's acting as our air dam, so we don't rock and roll too much. And when, especially in those circumstances when it's up and there's no wind and it's flogging around, it would be nice to be able to get our mainsail drum tight and act as less of a billowy sail and more of just a sheet of canvas. It being tighter and more rigid up on the boom and mast reduces the areas of it chafing, especially going roachless. The topping lift doesn't chafe with the leech line anymore, and that was really what kind of killed our original main, is that the topping lift was just beating the crap out of it. So we went headboardless to reduce chafe, and the biggest reason was to maximize our overall hoist on our mainsail height. We have a very tight top of the mast. The backstay and the main halyard come out basically the exact same place, so there's not a lot of room at the top, and our old sail had a 5-inch headboard, so the top of the sail came to be like 14 or 15 inches below the top of the mast. So obviously this is a new different design. It doesn't have a headboard. In my opinion, it's way more robust. There's no hard areas for this to chafe, so it can bend in as many places as it needs to, and obviously it's a lot thinner, so we can go pretty much to the top of the mast, giving us a little bit more advantage all the way 52 feet up in the air. Yes, we got rid of some sail area with our design changes, but we also would like to have the sail last a lot longer, and that's why we decided to do the things we did. We also want a main that is as good for multi-purpose as possible. Right now we plan on going to Mexico, but we also don't have any plans to stop after that. So not only do we want a main that's good for Mexico, but we want it good for a lot of areas. So we tried to get a main that will not only be good for multiple areas of the world, but also be able to last to get us through all those areas of the world.
It's also worth mentioning that Avocet was built during the IOR days, and she's heavily
head sail driven. So our main isn't necessarily a key player in our sailing. It definitely helps with stabilization when we're motoring or when there's light winds out. But since our head sail is actually like 130%, it's massive in comparison to the main, most of our sailing comes from the head sail, not the mainsail.
We have a asymmetrical spinnaker and a symmetrical spinnaker. So when we want to move this boat, we try to do it mostly with the jib. Our mast and boom are sort of small for our size of boat. Our boom's only 14 feet long, so in comparison to other boats like the Mason, for example, that has like a 20-foot boom, they're just different designs. Another cool feature that Jeremy at Precision Sails told me about when it comes to the lugs is that they're using carbon reinforced plastic now. Our old lugs were just the white generic plastic that does dry out over time and crack. So he assured me that not only are these gonna last longer, but they sort of have like a graphite feel, and they slide up the mast way better than the old ones did. So that's pretty cool to see and feel in my hands here. Overall, everything just feels and looks very, very robust and nice. We went with 9.5 ounce Dacron, and it feels good. I like the weight of it. There should be her in all her glory. Look at that graphic. I made that myself.
And now comes the fun part, organizing all of this back in there. Luckily, our lazarette storage is pretty darn deep.
Come on, Chris.
Very deep. All right, I'm about to jump in the water. Took a camera down underneath the boat yesterday and figured out that what we wrapped around our prop was just a bunch of kelp. So I'm gonna go down there and unkelp it, and then I'm gonna see what our zinc looks like. I might need to put a new one on. It's been about 5 months. So I've got all the tools I need. Bottom's clean enough for me not to want to clean it here, so I'm just gonna get in and get out as fast as possible. That's cold. Alright, finish up down there. Let me show you what it looks like.
So we're already pretty well stocked on the boat, and we have 2 dock carts now full of
very over-prepared now.
So we're definitely over-prepared. We're gonna see if it all fits. That's the real test.
A wind advisory remains in effect until 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the central Ventura County Valleys and southeastern Ventura County Valleys.
It wasn't totally the plan to leave at this time on Monday morning, but we have the best wind today. So the rest of the week, Tuesday through Saturday, it's very dead, no wind. So we are going to only have a 24 opportunity to get from Ventura to Catalina. And so we're gonna take that today. And then on Saturday night, Sunday morning, we have a really good opportunity from Catalina to Ensenada. So we got a smaller hop. Originally I thought we were just gonna restrict from to Ensenada, but we don't have a good 3-day window. We only have a good 24-hour window in the span of 2 weeks, or in the span of a week.
What time is it?
It's early. It's 3:45 a.m. Monday morning. As soon as Marissa and I were leaving the harbor, I was going on putting the main up and threw the halyard right up to the top of the mast. So Marissa got to go up to the mast at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Top of the mast is the best place to be at 4 a.m. First time raising the new main. Gosh, she's pretty.
10 and 20 knots pretty consistently. And we're doing about 7.5, 8 knots, screaming along. It's making me not want to go to Emerald Bay because that's really unprotected in Santa Ana. So I'm hoping that this dies down. It should in the next couple hours. Well, I'm hoping it doesn't die down too soon because I like sailing. I'm hoping it dies down soon enough that the anchorage I want to go to will be suitable. But yeah, it was great. We only motored for about an hour and a half. Kicked off at about 5:30. And ever since then, we've just been sailing. New main feels so good. It's so much more powerful than our old main, even though it's smaller. It's just having a nice shape. I'm noticing that it's way more powerful. Having to depower the main way faster because of the weather helm I'm getting, which we never usually got weather helm. We'd always have lee helm. So it's a good thing. It's working great. It looks great up there. And I'm just watching the sun come up versus sleeping. They're off watch right now. And we are making a really good time. Headed straight for Catalina. We don't have to take this completely on the nose. I'm able to put it about 60 degrees off of us, the wind at least. Yeah, we are just, look at it. It's windy. It's 26. I just ain't past 25, 26 yet though. It is a sustained 20, guessing into 25s. But we're moving. Should only last until about 10 or 11. Hours later now, wind has definitely mellowed out a lot more, blowing about 12 to 15 now, which is glorious. And autopilot's able to take over again. I was having a hand steer. The wind was too fluky earlier for the autopilot to keep up. We'd have 15 knots and then we get 25 knots and we get 15 knots and 25. So it's just I wasn't able to trim the boat properly for both sets of wind. So when I got to 25 knots power, and we got to 15, perfect. We were consistently getting 20s back there for about an hour, gusting into 25s. Never got past 26. So that was fun. Scooted along about 7.5 knots, made some good ground. We're about 39 miles away from our anchorage in Catalina. Not sure yet if we're gonna do Emerald Bay or Cat Harbor. They're both about the same distance down. One obviously is protected from Santa Ana's, and that's what we're supposed to get. Obviously right now, but on Thursday as well. So we might behoove us to go there now. I've just never been there before, and I hope we have enough wind to get us there on a timely matter, because I don't want to. There's the wind again. The autopilot keep up. If we go to Cat Harbor now, it'll save us some diesel from having to go there on like Wednesday or Tuesday. I've never been to Cat Harbor before. I need to just go downstairs when the wind mellows down enough so I can go find our guidebooks for Catalina. I'd like to do it with some daylight. To keep up our current speed, we should be fine. But if we start getting down in 5s and 4s, then we won't be. The joys of sailing. Our new mainsail is perfect for it. Love it. Love it.
Wondering why I am not on camera much, and that is because I look like a scrub.
Well, we are about 8 miles away from Catalina Island, specifically Cat Harbor. It's on the backside of Catalina, opposite to Avalon. Autopilot is not been able to keep up today. Anyways, we just had a long sail. We've had like every single wind direction today. From the south, from the east, from the southeast, from the north, from the northeast, from the west.
A lot of hand steering.
A lot of, basically 90% of it hand steering, because it's just, we had a strong Santa Ana this morning and now we have a strong opposing northwesterly. So the swell and the wind chop are just like a freaking washing machine. Alright, so right now we have 22 knots behind us, and we're going about 7.5, 8 knots, so we got about 28 knots of wind. We have our triple reef in the Genoa and a first reef in the main, and the boat feels nicely balanced. In the morning we were running full canvas the whole time, and recently I just put the reef in the main and then a full Genoa, but now that we are almost dead downwind, still reaching with the sails on just the port side, I have the Genoa nice and small, so it's easy to manage, and if it does backwind, it doesn't hurt anything. And the main is prevented out with the port, nice and strong, because, like I said, running that fine line of going downwind and still having the sails on only the port side, so they do have the option of backwinding. This tack is so much more comfortable though, going with the sea. The other tack, the swells on your beam and it just sucks. So to recharge the batteries a little bit on this tack.
We are just about to pull into Cat Harbor here in Catalina, and it has been a very, very long 12, almost 13, 14 hours now. We left at 4 a.m. We're arriving at 1700, so it's been a long day. No problems, just a few incidents where we got pooped a few times. The ocean wanted to come up and give us a kiss. And yeah, just a little bit cold now when the wind flipped.
Right there in front of us is Cat Harbor. Should be a nice spot for us to chill out for a week. Coming around the corner.
We arrived in Cat Harbor right as the sun went down, giving us enough light to snag a mooring and catch up with our friends Peter and Olivia from SV Kessel. Although Catalina wasn't part of the plan, we would be making a lot of memories, but all of that is next on Sailing Avocet.